This is Jacqueline Wilson. Welcome to the First Thought Podcast. Through my experiences and conversations, I strive to create the perfect podcast to help build stronger academic communities. Therefore, in each episode, I will discuss various topics that will bring some enlightenment to your day. Welcome to episode 10 of the First Thought Podcast. Today, I want to talk about mental illness. This is a growing problem all over the world. Also, many people who have a mental illness might not be aware of it. Many factors can lead to mental illness, including genetics, physical injuries, and traumatic life experiences. By addressing the different risk factors, it is possible to raise awareness on different conditions and learn how to engage others with differences without disempowering them. Did you know that 1 out of 5 Americans have experienced some form of mental illness, with 1 in 25 experiencing a more serious mental illness such as bipolar disorder or schizophrenia? Many people with a mental illness don't seek treatment due to the stigma. Therefore, only 44% of adults who have diagnosable mental illness receive treatment. But how do you know who has a mental illness? Many people with a mental illness can work a job and be just as productive as someone without the mental health issues. It has nothing to do with being lazy or weak, and most people with a mental illness are not violent. So what are the symptoms for mental illness? Some of the symptoms may include feeling sad or down, confused thinking, or reduced ability to concentrate. It is always best to seek treatment or help because a lack of activity can cause problems in your daily life. Now that you know the purpose of today's show, it's now time for our one-on-one session. This is the part of the show where I give you a behind-the-scenes pass into my life. Well, a little bit of it. Through sharing my experiences and answering questions, it is my hope that you will leave enlightened and refreshed. My advice to someone who is dealing with mental illness and the stigma of it: be proud of who you are. Know that there's always opportunity for you to do better. Seek medical treatment. Also, if you're on medication, take your medication. And once again, know that whatever God you serve, God loves you, and so do I. So keep in mind, don't worry about the stigma. Do what you have to do to make sure you're healthy. I personally have taken a step back from watching a lot of TV, news, and otherwise. So I feel that regardless of what the media is saying about mental illness, we as individuals need to respect the fact that there are people that have problems and encourage them to get help if necessary. I think just making faculty, staff, students aware that there are mental health issues in our society and being accepting of it. Once again, spreading awareness, not stigmatizing someone for the fact that they're bipolar or have any other issues with concentration or ability to get things done. Encourage them to seek help and be supportive once they do. It's time for the beauty tip of the week. In this segment today, I will present you with a few tips on how to apply fragrances. One of my main tips is simply don't spray perfume on a stinking body. So make sure that you're fresh and clean, and then a couple of spritz, whether you're male or female. Not to be overbearing, like when you get in the elevator, I have to get off because you have way too much cologne on. So just a couple of sprays in the morning, and if you change and go to an evening event, just a couple of sprays with your new outfit. So that's the tip of the day. One thing, the true essence of beauty is always look beautiful and always feel beautiful. Before we end this episode of the First Thought Podcast, I would like to leave you with a gem to help promote a better day, week, and life. So today's gem will focus on a few tips on why it is. As to why it is deleterious to always be self-conscious about one's image. It is human nature to want to be liked and accepted. However, this often leads to people worrying about what someone else thinks about them. This kind of excess worrying can have a negative effect on your life. It can be so debilitating that it can interfere with your ability to feel at ease with yourself or around others. So here are a few reasons why you shouldn't care what others think. The first one is that people deal with matters that do not always concern others. What people think of you cannot change who you are or what you are worth unless you allow them to. This is your life to live at the end of the day. You only need to approve of the choices you make. The next reason is that other people don't actually know what's best for you. No one will ever be as invested in your life as you. Only you learn from the choices you make to know what's best for you. Last but not least, being easily influenced by the opinions of others will prevent you from reaching your dreams on your own. The thoughts of others can change on a regular basis, and in life, you're the one stuck with the consequences of your decisions. You might be inspired to do things that don't always meet people's standards. I would like to say when you become obsessed with everyone else's opinion of you, you ultimately forget your own. Ladies and gents, that's all I have for you today, but I thank you so much for tuning in to the 10th episode of the First Thought Podcast. Please, please, please rate the podcast. Please rate it positively. And don't forget to subscribe. Also, I encourage you to submit questions for me to answer on the show. Please contact me via email at jacquelinewilson@wayne.edu. See you next time here on the First Thought Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.